The gang. Come in the head with the crankbait's what happened, and now I'm about to rip it out of his head.
There he is. That's on me. That was so sick. No. I'm so proud of that intro. I really like it.
And nothing. I've started saying that. You literally like normally I only like quote movies and songs, and TV shows, but now I've started quoting you, and I've started quoting Pelican Bone. And nothing.
Well, you know that's actually a quote from I think it's Rudolph. Remember the claymation Rudolph? And they had the guy with the God, what was his name with the beard?
Cornelius.
Yes,
Yeah,
Cornelius.
yeah.
Because he would throw his little hammer up in the air, it would stick in the ice, and he would take
Nothing. Yeah.
nothing.
Yep.
And then my dad would say that, and then it kind of I caught on with me, and then now it's just something just something I did, not even paying attention to it. And then in the videos, people love it,
I
and then
love
it
it.
just became a thing
I
on
love it.
accident, which is
I love
cool.
it. No, that's funny. I now remember that. And there's so many people that call me Yukon Cornelius, so I should like know all of his quotes.
Yes, yeah.
I've
I
been
could
telling
see it.
people, yeah, I've been telling people I'm gonna go a little belt and put me a little revolver and a pickaxe in there.
You should. Hi, Making Bone Gang, and welcome back to another Pelican Bone Outdoors podcast. It has been several months actually since I put one out because of things and stuff. But actually I started a second YouTube channel called Pelican Bone Outdoor Podcast, where we're going to end up putting all of these as well as everywhere you get your podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast and whatever other podcast places that the thing sends it. But we might do some live still. This one is not record live. This is the first one that I have recorded and not done live. But we're figuring out. The main reason is because I am focusing wholeheartedly on my YouTube channel, trying to get it where it needs to be so I can go full time doing that, which will allow me to do this podcast consistently. And that is cool. How did you change your background?
Because I'm a
That
fan.
is fantastic. Is that why you got just a plain white background now? So you can just add
So
whatever you want?
I can throw dinosaurs on there if I want to.
Podcasts are great, and it's even better when you get to see them. Because like I'll sit and you ever listen to dear not no what is it it's
You
coming
tell
to me,
me.
hold on. Meat Eater, there it is. You ever
Yeah,
listen to Meat
yeah.
Eater podcast?
Meat eater, yeah.
I love listening to it, but every now and then they start talking about something or showing something. It's like, man, what is he doing?
What's he
And
looking at?
then you got to go back and watch it. But
Yeah.
anyway, today's episode is about trying new things and why they're dangerous. Sometimes they can be dangerous, but why it's worth it. And I have a fantastic story that I'm going to tell a little bit later on. But first of all, how are you doing, Mr. Alex
Buddy,
Road?
buddy, listen. I am fantastic. It is it's good. It's a good day to be Alex Rudd. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
I'm good. No, yeah, man, I'm good. You know, it's one of those things that if I wasn't good, nobody would care anyway. So you just got to be
I
all
would
right.
care.
I
I
know
would
you would
care.
care. I know. I say that. I got some good people in my life that really do care about me, but I'm good, man. I'm having some good moods lately, some bad moods lately. It just kind of all depends on what the day is and what the day brings. But it's been good. It's been good. Been fishing. Not been doing a whole lot of catching. Just got a brand new kayak. So that's fun. Yeah, we're going to Indianapolis tomorrow to do a boat show for 3 days. We're going to do some seminars about kayak fishing, and one of them is actually about like exploring small bodies of water. So it kind of fits into the topic for today. And so, dude, I'm good. It's great to be
Good,
me. I
man.
cannot complain whatsoever.
Yeah, if you ever get the chance to go fishing with Alex Rudd, just make sure you don't stand on the deck with
Wear a
him.
helmet.
Yeah, or wear a helmet. Yeah, and definitely wear sunglasses because Alex likes to stick people in the head with treble hooks just so he can rip them out with the braid trick.
Oh
'Cause,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm never gonna let that go. By the way,
Yeah. I know
it's
you.
in the intro of the podcast, so
I know.
it's not
I know.
going anywhere.
I love it. I just stuck him in the head. I'm about to rip it out. Like it's just like
Yeah,
that is Alex Rudd in a nutshell right there. What are you doing, Alex? I just stuck this guy in the head and I'm about to rip it out. And I'm going to enjoy every second of it. Yeah. No,
a
it's
trip I will never forget. That's for sure.
yeah,
Good
I
times,
whacked you
good
pretty, dude. I
stories.
hit you so hard with it. It
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
the fact that I stuck you with it. It was how hard I hit you with it. Like, dude, I reared back and I was throwing into like 15-mile-per-hour wind, and I said, "Thwap!" And I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "That's in his head," and I was like, "But I do know how to get it out."
Well, the crazy part is how hard you hit me. I didn't feel the hook. Like, I didn't feel the hook go in at all. It just felt like somebody threw a rock at my head.
Yeah,
Felt like David winding up the old sling and hitting Goliath right in the back of the head.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So, hey, sometimes you can have fun.
Yeah, it was good times. What in the
Whoa,
world?
that is what
Did
I'm
you
talking.
hear that?
I like it. Do it again.
That was crazy. I don't even know what I did. Karaoke. Nope, that's not it.
Oh, there it is again. I like that.
I
I
don't
like
know. Anyway, so before we get down into the new things and everything, we gotta hit the segment. The outdoor outlaws, today's outdoor outlaws. Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries enforcement agents cited 8 subjects for alleged migratory game bird hunting violations in 2 separate cases. Agents cited I'm just gonna say first names because even though I'm from Louisiana, I can't even pronounce these guys' last names. So this guy Dwayne was 60,
It's Rock
Cole
Johnson. It's how you say
Coley was
the last
36, Glenn was 67, for hunting migratory birds over a baited area. You should know better. You should
name.
know
Should.
better, guys. Agent cited John of 63. These are a lot of older guys that really should know better. 63, John. It's John Gilliat Sr. and John Gilliat Jr.
Oh,
and
it's
Dustin
family.
Gilliat, 24. So this seems like it's the whole family. Oh, wait, and there's one more. Bert Gilliat is 68.
Hmm.
They find all of them for hunting migratory birds over a baited area. Agents also cited the Gilliat Sr. for hunting without a basic hunting license or without a duck stamp. So he
Is there a law they didn't break?
so so they went out there with no intention of obeying the rules.
Yeah.
Agents set up surveillance on 2 duck hunting locations with bait in the area of 2 separate locations. Agents witnessed the subjects actively hunting for migratory game birds over baited areas. Let's see. Does it say how much they got them for? Blah 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 blah. Federal cases. Oh yeah, that's true. Migratory birds is a federal case. That's not even state. All federal cases for hunting migratory game birds over a baited blah blah blah.
Hmm. So my question is, so here and I really wonder about this. So let me back up. So a few weeks ago, more than a few weeks ago, but a few weeks ago, we'll say, I went up to a little place called Gatlinburg. You know about Gatlinburg.
Yep.
I went and did some trout fishing. Well, like there was like this old man who I guess was there with like his grandkids, and they were fishing down the stream from me, and it is delayed harvest, which means you cannot catch nor can you keep any of the trout while they're this time of year. It's just part of like the stocking program and helping with a healthy population. I watched old boy pull like 3 giant trout out of the water and stick them in a cooler and just walk away with them. Now the thing is like he totally broke the law, but like I just wonder, and I know not knowing the law is no excuse for not following the law, but like how much of that is just plain like dumb redneck ignorance? Because like you've got to think there's a certain like class of human being, right? That like is going to commit crimes like that. And I think sometimes they commit crimes like that just because they're literally like dumber than you and me.
Right, like, they just have no concept that this could even be against the law.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
like, I think so many times, more often than not, I will say, and the reason I say that is because my beautiful wife works in customer service. And in the customer service experience and just being in the public space as myself as well, like, you start to realize, like, how dumb people are. Like, dumb to the point of, like, you'll post a schedule for something and they'll ask you what your schedule is on the post, what your schedule is. And it's like, you're just like, man, like, are the lights on and nobody's home? And so, like, that there's like another level below that of just like dumb rednecketry. And like, I think those boys have just hit that level of dumb rednecketry. Or you've got a case where it's like Man, screw the government. I'm gonna go shoot
Yeah.
as many gosh dang ducks so I want to. Yeehaw! Like I don't know.
I think it's more along those lines because I mean, you got these dudes are 63 and 68. This dude's 50, 67. I mean, 60. There's a lot of older guys, and only one, what was it? I think only one got fined for not having a license or a duck stamp. So the rest of them had licenses. I know you need a hunting license to hunt, especially at 63. You need a license to do everything nowadays.
Yeah, pretty much. Breathe. What?
So yeah. So I would say that's just a bunch of coon asses being like, you know what? And they probably did it 100 times and then just finally got caught.
Well,
So
and that could be true too. But I just think it's interesting, and I just wonder too, like how many people do how many people do things and like they just do it and do it and do it until they do get caught. Like I just wonder how many people are like on a daily basis breaking some poaching or game law
a
and never get caught.
lot,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot, because I run into people all the time that I think either I think are doing it or they, talk about used to doing it or will say, and a lot of them again will say, they're talking about it and I'll hear it and I'll be like, that's illegal. No, what? So there's still a lot of ignorance of the law too, because not stuff like that. I mean, you should know you're not hunting over a baited field for ducks
Mm,
or, you need a license. But
mhm,
there's been a lot of rule changes lately here. Speckled trout, they changed the size limit and the creel limit. Um, they changed for jug lines. They put a limit on that for recreational fishing, and now you also have to have your name, phone number, and your wildlife and fisheries ID number on there. Tagged, which I
mhm.
think a lot of states do that, but we finally, slow to the thing.
Hmm.
But a lot of people don't know those new, the new rules that come out. Me, I pull a book out every season and check every time I do something just to make sure because I know they changing it.
Yeah. It's just very interesting to me. I think so many times, like obviously we're very conscious and stewards of our craft and what we do, and we want to follow the law. But I think sometimes too, like we have this. You have you have ignorance, and then you have arbitrary rule changes that aren't communicated well. Because that's one thing that I saw here. I forgot. I think it was Douglas Lake where they switched up the rules on what bass you could keep or the size and all that kind of stuff. And it's like there wasn't a great communication of those new rules. And it's like that like there was like probably even still to this day some dude going out there and keeping 5 fish all the wrong size because like he's a 68-year-old man that doesn't have Instagram or Facebook or
Right.
this, and it's not in the newspaper, and it's not put on the news because they want to talk about Israel and Hamas and Ukraine way more than they want to talk about like stuff that affects us locally. I don't know. It's interesting to me the whole system because I love the system, but also I know the system can be arbitrary, and so I worry sometimes that it's like with those like little nuanced rule changes that like we're putting way more people on the wrong side of the law than on the right side of the law when we probably needs to be
But it's
focusing on things like these dudes out here shooting ducks just willy nilly, which
right.
they
Well,
do.
and I think and the good thing is the agents have discretion too a lot of times. So if they really feel like somebody didn't know and was trying,
Yeah,
they usually work with them. At
yeah,
least that's what I find. Um But again, it's taking responsibility too, because you can go on our wildlife and fisheries website, and most sporting goods places have the book that they put out every year
yeah,
that has all the rules for that season.
yeah.
So
That's true.
I go to the website and download the PDF and leave it in my phone. So even if I don't have internet, I just pull it up, flip through it to the section,
Mhm.
and whenever they change a rule, it's usually in red that year. So it
Mm,
stands out. So there really isn't an excuse.
no,
If you
really
really wanna play by the rules, then, it's there.
not.
So,
Absolutely. No, I don't disagree. I think it's just it's an interesting dynamic we play with the system. You know what I mean?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, hell, well, and it's like here's what I ran into is like in Gatlinburg. So in the state of Tennessee, a single hook is considered one hook, and that could be a treble hook or a hook, like one hook, like a flipping hook or
Right.
like a singular hook.
J hook, yeah.
Well, I went and read the rules on the website in Gatlinburg, and it said you can only use one hook. So you tell me what that means.
No crankbaits.
Well, you can't use treble hooks. Now
Oh, you can't use treble.
it didn't distinctly say you couldn't use treble hooks on the website, but it said distinctly on the sign next to the water. But on the website, it says you can only use one hook.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know how they would classify it. So
Or
you
and
can't use a treble hook.
so you can't use a treble hook. And so it said no multi-hook baits, only one hook allowed. So
Hmm.
I took that as well in the state of Tennessee, a single hook is considered a treble hook or a single hook. Doesn't matter how many
Right.
points it has, as long as it only has one shank, essentially.
Right.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? And so it's just a weird thing. But once I got there, I was like, oh, I also can't use treble hooks. And so I used a single hook inline spinner, which only had one hook on it, not a treble hook. Which if I'd have
So
used a treble hook, it would have been illegal.
why is Gatlinburg different than the rest of the
It's
state?
trout, bro. Trout, like,
Oh, it's trout.
yeah,
Okay, because
yeah,
it's trout. I
yeah.
got you.
The trout thing, and that all fascinates me too. And the reason that fascinates me so much is because I don't know if you listen to my podcast with the biologist about trout, and I bet you didn't know this. It's going to probably blow your mind. Brown trout, as a whole, are not native to North America at all. They came from
Really?
Eastern Europe, like Germany. Man,
Hmm.
they are coming after me. Do you hear them sirens?
I do. Barely, but I do.
Bethany, hide the guns. No, I'm just kidding. Put the drugs up your butt. So feed them to the dog. But anyway, what was I talking about? Okay, so brown trout as a whole are not native to North America at all, like whatsoever. They come from Europe. They come from Germany. And then rainbow trout are not native to any part of North America other than the Pacific Rim of the United States, which is like the literal like Pacific coast. So Rocky Mountains west.
S-
So
So
so all rainbow trout and brown trout anywhere else in North America are a non-native introduced species. And the reason they're classified as non-native and not invasive is because they're not harmful
right. They're not
to
tearing up nothing.
waterways. They're not tearing
Yeah.
up anything. Now, brook trout, on the other hand, are native species. That's native to North America. They're actually like,
That's the
and
ones with the different colored dots on them, huh? Is that
yes, yeah, they're beautiful. Like
yeah,
they're
those are
gorgeous fish. But those are native, and they're actually considered a prehistoric fish. Like they are,
really?
yes, they are old as old gets. They're like mammoths walking around. Like as soon as the permafrost melted and the glaciers went away, like there's trout in those streams. They've been there for thousands upon thousands of years, like craziness. But no, it's just an interesting thing with the trout that we have so many arbitrary, and that's where I get at the arbitrary thing. We have so many arbitrary rules in place for a fish that guess what? You put it there. Like it's not a native. Like, and the thing is, and here I'm going to blow your mind even more. Is most of them are stocked, especially here in Tennessee, knowing that they're going to die because as soon as the water hits 65
Right.
degrees, they start going belly up, dude. Like they can't stand it. And so, like, they stock, I don't know, 70,000 trout a year in Tennessee waters. Like almost every single one of them is either going to be eaten or die because the water gets too hot. There's almost no
So
naturally spawning trout.
if they're gonna die anyway, then why won't they let y'all keep them? Like, why wouldn't they let that guy keep them? Like, put the 5 in his ice chest and walk off. Well,
Gatlinburg is weird though too because they've got their own hatchery and they're doing their own stocking program and they stock that bad boy once a week.
that's wild.
Yep.
We
So
actually have lakes, well, lakes or ponds down here that they stock with rainbow trout certain times a year.
it's a weird deal, dude.
So, trying new things. You've been trying a lot of new speaking of trout, you've been, trying
Yeah,
a lot of new things lately I've seen on the YouTube channel, the
yeah,
Alex Wood Fishing YouTube channel.
Alex Rowe Fishing YouTube channel, podcast, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook page. Go over there, check it out. You'll see my ugly face. Smooth plug. Yeah. No, I've been doing all kinds of fun things. I've been exploring a little bit. Went and did a catch and cook with my buddy John the other day. Dang near froze to death. Dude, that was miserable.
Dude, So I watched that video, and you said you had two 20-degree sleeping bags. Just did you know that there's a difference between the comfort level and the survival level? When
Yeah.
they say it's a 20-degree sleeping bag, that means survival. That doesn't mean you're gonna be comfortable.
So,
I
but
found
you
out the hard
being
way.
inside of 2 of them.
Yeah,
Well,
well, you would.
let me tell you what made me cold. It wasn't the sleeping bag. I was actually really warm on the top half of my body. It was the back side of my body. So the front side of look at me, I can disappear into the dinosaurs. So the
You've been
front side of
disappearing all over the place.
yeah, so the front side of my body was okay. It was the back side of my body that was laying on the air mattress. And so what happened was I forgot my insulated air mattress and I brought
Mm.
my normal air mattress. Well, that was just like sleeping on a giant ice cube of cold air. And so, like anywhere my body would lay against that mattress, that down in that sleeping bag would compress, and I was just laying straight on cold air mattress. And so, yeah, dude, I napped that night, is what I did. I napped from about 9 till 2 a.m. And then I got up and turned the propane heater on long enough to knock the chill off in the tent and got rewrapped in my sleeping bags and then napped from about 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock and then got up and started frying bacon. So yeah, it was cold. Like I do have to say, if I ever go do any winter camping anymore, I'm gonna go visit the REI and get me like a -50 sleeping bag and an insulated like thing to put down on my mattress.
So it depends on how you wanna camp. So there's different levels of camping, right? There's the backpacker camper who will fit everything in a backpack. It's all about weight,
Yeah,
all about.
you like
So, I
cut
mean,
their toothbrush in half to like make weight and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. You cut every ounce, every ounce counts, right? So they got the sleeping bag that's really warm, but the tent you can only fit you in it and all of that stuff. Well, me, I'm not gonna say I'm a bougie camper, but I like to be comfortable when I go camping. So I'm not packing. I want to. I want to go do a camping trip where I go hike, just a couple miles and spend a few days out there.
yeah,
But usually me, I pull a Jeep around. Like this time I had my Jeep, my trailer behind me with my four-wheeler on it.
yeah.
And I got a four-person tent that I'm sleeping in by myself. I got
Mhm,
a cot, so I'm up off the ground, pushed all the way to the side. I got a huge down blanket that we have. It's like a king size blanket that I just doubled up, wrapped over. Plus, I had a sleeping bag and another bag, which I didn't even need because I had my propane tank and my buddy heater
mhm,
on all night. So I was nice and toasty.
mhm.
It was so bad.
Just
I
gotta
had
make
the
sure you have ventilation for those because I don't want that to kill you. CO2
so
is the thing.
dude. So trying new things and it being dangerous. So I turned the heater on and I wasn't thinking about ventilation. I mean, I'm a firefighter and I wasn't even thinking about the ventilation, right? In my mind, I'm like carbon monoxide and I'm looking at the heater and the heater says it's safer inside. And propane's a clean burning fuel as long as it's burning efficiently. It's not putting off carbon monoxide. So I'm
Propane
like, all
propane accessories.
right.
Bobber.
Bobber,
Yeah,
bobber.
bobber.
So
Whoa.
I get in there, I turn the heater on the lowest setting, and in no time, it is like a sauna in there,
Sauna,
dude. It was
yeah,
hot.
sauna. Yeah,
So I put the little vent open at the top, and I had to crack two of the windows. Had this unzip it so that there was actually a breeze blowing through it because it
yeah,
was so hot. So I'm glad it got that hot because I just wasn't thinking about
yeah,
oxygen being burned, right?
yeah.
Well, after that camping trip, my buddy sends me a reel or a short or whatever, and it's a guy in an ice fishing tent, and they got the buddy heater, and he tries to strike a lighter, and the lighter wouldn't light
'Cause there's
until
no
they opened the door because it was sucked all the oxygen. I'm like, "Holy crap, dude, that could have been bad. That could have
That's
been
how
bad."
you end up dead. Like,
Yeah,
dude, yeah, okay, well, there you go.
so public service announcement, make sure you ventilate the tent if you're gonna
Or
keep a
just
buddy
get you
heater
a
in there.
CO2 monitor. Dude, they're cheap on Amazon. You can spend like $5 and you hang it in your tent or wherever you're staying, and it'll let you know when it's dangerously high. It just goes beep, beep, beep,
Yeah,
beep.
I need to get one with the carbon monoxide and the O2 sensors. We got them on the CGIs on the trucks, on the fire trucks. I just need to get me one of those, test
Yeah.
everything in the air.
Yeah, but no, yeah, it's been fun. So we did the camping, been doing a little bit of trout fishing. That's fun. Trout's a completely different ball game other than bass fishing. Obviously, I mean they're just a different animal, dude. Like it's fun. It's really fun, and I've been enjoying it. I'm going to try some fly fishing here soon, just because I
Yeah.
want to try it. You know what I mean? I want to see what it's
Oh, yeah.
about. But no, dude, I think the biggest thing with trout fishing for me is what's been fun is just like getting back to the roots of just like walking down the bank. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like, you're just exploring, going in, like and even in, like, the Gatlinburg thing, like, very urban, right in the middle of downtown Gatlinburg, but it's like, I had never explored Gatlinburg in that way, and so, like,
Right.
you're walking behind all of these buildings and all of these stores, and, like, you're getting to see it in a completely different way than you've ever seen it before, and then you get to walk down on the river and catch a fish, standing behind, like, one of your favorite restaurants, and it's just like it's a weird kind of, like, experience, and so now I wanna take it to the next level, and I wanna go, like, away from everything, which that's with like the fly fishing and going up into the park, Smoky Mountain National Park and like brook trout and all that stuff and getting like way up a creek somewhere just to catch a little brook trout the size of your hand. But because that brook trout is like, they're extra rare and extra special just because they are native fish, which is cool. But yeah, no, that's what I've been doing. It's been fun. I'm enjoying myself. Also been doing some forward facing sonar, which is definitely dangerous on YouTube nowadays because as soon as you do it, you're going to lose a bunch of subscribers and people are going to throw crap at you and hate you, your core down to your guts, which is interesting.
It happens.
I
Dude,
love
I got oh, dude, I love the comments. I
Yeah,
love the comments. I know a couple of, YouTubers that just don't even read them anymore, but I love it.
yeah.
I like the good comments, and I get, ideas and stuff like that from the good comments, but I love the hate comments.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I
Those
had this one guy from up north. So, down here in Louisiana, we don't call anything by its correct name. I
no,
mean,
yeah,
we
you
got
don't.
either French names or we just call it completely the wrong thing. So, every sunfish, all right, I don't care if it's a bluegill, goggle eye, well, I don't even think y'all call them goggle eyes. I think y'all call them like rock bass maybe or
Rock
something.
bass, yeah, yeah. Red
It's
eye,
it's
rock bass, yeah.
yeah, okay, and then, shell crackers or whatever you wanna call them. All of those are perch to us.
Yeah, yeah,
It's all a perch. Like brim, any brim or sunfish or whatever we call a perch.
yeah.
It's not a perch. It's like,
No,
the perch is that thing you caught on your video the other day that was,
yeah,
it's like yellow with the stripes on it. Well, this dude lost his mind. I can't believe like, why do you call it perch? Where do you even get that from? That's not a perch. A simple simple research would show I mean, just a whole paragraph. I was
yeah.
like, this
That's that level
this
of
dude
ignorance I'm talking about, bro. Like,
oh,
I'm
man.
telling you, listen, guys, if you're listening to this and you're leaving a comment, I love comments. I love to interact with people. I really do. But that being said, there's a group of you guys out there, and you know who you are. There are special humans that comment on YouTube videos and comment on things on social media because just the way they comment. I got this one dude, the comments, honest to God, is like a Joe Biden speech. I mean, it is like the donkeys went to the butterfly farm because the fudge got out of the fence and all the monkeys were running around playing football. And you're like, what
I've
in
had
the,
those. Yep.
what are you talking about? And it is the
Uh,
greatest thing ever. Like you did that fish murder on their bridge down on the mud rock bank there where there was them there, what that, and you're like, thanks, bud. And this one guy in particular, he comments on every one of my videos without fail. And he's usually one of the first ones. So I can't not love the fact that
oh, yeah.
he's that dedicated to Alex, but I just can't understand what he's saying. I don't know what he's saying.
I've had those. But I just man, it's just I guess the negativity is what gets me, I still have to laugh at them because,
Yeah,
if you get that mad over what they call a fish, what somebody called a fish, it's like, God,
yeah,
like, what is going on in your life
yeah,
that
yeah.
frustrates you that much that you have to lash out on social media? Like, I feel bad for the guy,
Well,
it's like
I don't think it's anything personal in any person's life. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I think more than anything, I think it's just the culture that people have come to be very very comfortable with saying whatever behind a keyboard and not saying
yeah,
things like we've lost touch with like face to face interaction. Like it's kind of weird. Like even like this, even though we're not face to face, like I still think like there's certain things that like and obviously me and you were friends, but like say it was somebody else, like there's certain things that certain people wouldn't say to me in even this capacity
right.
where I have a chance to like be able to articulate a response and like be able to like and that's another thing is like emotions aren't conveyed in like text.
Yep.
And so like I could say, Vinny, you're a dummy. And when I say it like that, it sounds very unalarming and very like,
Right.
not angry, but you read it as Vinny, you dummy, and it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
then you're in putting inflection on words that that person didn't really mean to say. That's why I just don't even worry with it. Like comments are comments. I reply to people who ask questions and good questions, and then I heart everything else. It's not that I dislike you. It's just that I can't invest my own personal time and attention into what people are saying on the internet because I barely have enough time and attention for my own self. So I can't focus on somebody else.
Agreed. I try and at least, hit the little heart on every comment, and I do read every comment just because, I mean, somebody took the time to do it, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the viewers and everything. So, I try to do that, but, you know, it be like that sometimes.
You know what we were talking about earlier about YouTube, and I know we're in the middle of a podcast, but remind me, Ben just sent me something. We got to discuss it after we get done. That is very weird.
Roger that, and everybody's wondering, "What could it possibly be?" But you'll
What,
never know.
what are they talking about?
You'll never know. So, one of the things one of the reasons I wanted to bring up the, try new things, or trying new things is that's actually one well, we both kinda build our brands around education, conservation, and entertainment, or not necessarily in that order.
Try
But,
to.
yeah, but that's what we kinda base it on. But 2 things that I always wanted to push when I started this too is to encourage people to try new things
Mhm.
and to make new memories that will last a lifetime. Several reasons, because a lot of
Thanks,
times
Hallmark Channel.
people get caught up with in the old with the good old days.
Yeah, yeah.
You ever notice that? Like, "Man, I wish it was like the old days," when right now could be the good days, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree. I think that we are in the good old days in some capacities. Like I really do. I think that the direction in which we're going. So this is going to be a little bit of a long drawn out. Okay, so
It is
regardless,
the Alex Rudd way.
yeah. So regardless of what you think about climate change, there's obviously something going on a very like big climatary level that worries me. And the reason I say that is because we're seeing changes in fishing and changes in the environment like we've never seen before in history. And a lot of it is based around like climatary types of changes. And so, yeah, I think that in that capacity, we may be entering the good old days of fishing. I also think that we're entering the good old days of fishing just because, like, all the invasives that we have now, like, that's another big thing here in Tennessee. I mean, the Alabama bass, and I know people are tired of hearing me talk about this, but it's the same way down there in Louisiana with you guys and the nutria and all that. Like, it is just a plain and simple fact that those fish, the Alabama bass or the nutria or whatever it is, are highly invasive and they are going to ruin certain bodies of water. And it's going to get to the point where we're not going to be able to go catch things like smallmouth. Like, you came here and you're like your mission when you came here was to try to catch a smallmouth. And we finally got that done for you. But like the thing is, dude, with these Alabama bass, I mean, we give it 10 years, 5 years on some of these lakes, we don't have smallmouth anymore. And so, yeah, I do think we're in the good old days of fishing. And I really, really worry about that, to be totally honest with you. And so, like, I think like people need to take stock in the fact that the fact that we can still catch fish consistently like we do and that like all of our lakes aren't completely ruined by some crazy invasive species, like we need to be really thankful for that because states like Florida, Louisiana, Tennessee's getting that way. I mean, like they don't have bass fisheries anymore. Now they have peacock bass fisheries and they have snakehead fisheries and they have clown knife fisheries. And but here before too long here in Tennessee, we're gonna have Alabama bass fisheries. And it's just
Well,
yeah, dude.
we got the snakehead here now. They
Oh,
just,
dude,
yeah, they just found it. It wasn't that long ago, last year sometime, I think.
it's
They,
crazy.
they found a few of them, so that's the thing now.
Yeah.
They'll be here because 'cause they're not gonna stop that, they're just gonna keep on multiplying.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, I do think we're in the good old days of fishing. To be totally honest with you, I really think we are.
So,
Sorry about that, like long winded explanation there, but I'm just I had to say that because I really do think we are.
so y'all get out and fish the things
Go
you like to fish.
go and not only go and fish, but like spread the
Try new
word.
things, man. Yeah.
Try new things, spread the word, and like talk about the fact that it's because that's one thing we are seeing right now, and I just got to get this out there too. This is just making me mad. Is like that there's people who are moving those Alabama bass around, and it's because they like to catch them, and
Yeah.
because they think that they're not going to hurt anything. And like I've seen comments on the internet, they're like, "Oh, those dangerous spotted bass." Well, the thing is yes, they are. They're very, very dangerous, and they're going to ruin fisheries if we keep moving them like we are. And because of ignorance like that, that's why we're in this position that we're in. And so we just got to be so careful with that, dude. And I try to be careful too by like calling people ignorant because I know that doesn't help our case any either because then all you do is offend those people. But sometimes you got to offend people to teach them something. And so
Sometimes. Speaking of
sometimes,
speaking of teaching people things, so trichinosis, do you know what that is?
yeah, you get it from bears and what else you get it from? You get it from bears and sheep, right?
You get it from basically any carnivores. So it used to be prevalent in pork. That's why you were supposed to cook your pork all the way. Now it's not a big deal because they made it a law where commercially grown pork, you can't feed them junk meat. Like they used to just feed them scraps of meat and whatever.
Mhm,
But now they can't feed them meat. It's just like grains and, stuff like that.
mhm,
Because somehow that passes it's a worm. I mean, it's a ringworm that gets in you and ends up burrowing in your muscle and give you things. So
mm.
I say all that to say,
You got
trying
trichinosis?
new things and it
Oh,
being dangerous, right? So I'm a trapper. I've been trapping for like I think this is my third season.
and you eat way
Uh,
too much weird crap. I'm just
and
gonna
I
put
love it. And I like to try all the things that I trap as far as eating goes. Now, I haven't tried otter yet, which kind of terrifies me because the older guys I trap with say that even buzzards don't eat otter, and that worries me. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But so this season, I have eaten gray fox, coyote. I watched and bobcat. I think this was the first year I tried bobcat. I might try bobcat last year. So these are all predators, right?
yeah, yeah.
I didn't know about trichinosis. I know you were supposed to cook your pork all the way, whatever. So on one of my videos, one of the trapping videos, we caught this gray fox. Actually, the guy I was trapping with caught the gray fox, and I took some backstrap with me, and I went down to Southwest Louisiana to a guy who invited me out there to go duck hunting, and he's
Right.
got the pit lit, and I'm like, let's cook this backstrap and see how it tastes. So we cook it, and it looked done, so I cut it open, and it was a little pink in the middle, like, I guess you would say, like, well to medium. Well, it was medium, like, medium to medium well, and I'm like, "That's fine, it looks good to me." People eat deer backstrap, undercooked or whatever, so I eat it, and I'm like, "It's delicious." I mean, it was delicious, dude. It was really good. It was really delicious. But then my buddy who's the taxidermist, he's seen the video, and he sent me a message, said, "Dude, be careful eating those predators undercooked." And I'm like, "Okay, why?" So, I did what every red-blooded American would do. I Googled it, and
Trick.
that's when I discovered what trichinosis was. And I'm like, I'll be all right.
The trick.
So I ended up eating after that, ate coyote and bobcat, but I made sure those were cooked all the way. Like I looked it up and it's, 160,
Yeah,
165 internal temperature and
yeah,
you're good. Well, what was it? 2, 3 weeks ago, I was going to, do a trapping class, a one-day trapping class with the Trappers Association, and dude, my stomach was messed up, right? So, it got nauseous, and then I started feeling bad and started feeling feverish, so I left and I came home. I was running like 99 something, wasn't high fever, but then, and the fever broke later that evening, so it was only a short period of time, but so I'm like, "I got a stomach bug," but it was kinda weird because it went from nauseous to gaseous to heartburn back to, like, gas pains to nauseous, like, it was all over the place. No,
yeah.
I've never felt that before. So, that kinda got me starting to think, and I think my wife even asked me, "You think it could be, could it possibly be from whatever?" And I'm like, I don't know." So, I looked it up again, trichinosis thing, because 'cause I'm like, "Man, could it be this?" Like, I don't know. And the crazy part was the fox would have been the only one I would have gotten it from because the bobcat and the coyote was completely cooked. So, I look at when I put the fox video out, it was over a month.
Yeah.
but the incubation period can be anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks
Yeah.
before you feel symptoms. So I'm like, crap. So I go to, I'm like, let's go. Let me go. I'm just gonna go to urgent care the next day. This is after a few days had passed. I
Yeah.
go to urgent care because I didn't know if I was gonna get a doctor's appointment soon enough, which urgent care was a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
I
It
go
all.
in there, dude. I go in there and I'm telling her what's going on. I'm like, "Look, I gotta tell you because the CDC website says to make sure you let the doctor know if it's a possibility." I was like, "I ate a fox undercooked, and it's possible to have trichinosis." And she's like,
I bet she was like, "Why the
"Well, that
fudge?"
one thing the first thing she said was, like, why would you eat a fox?" And then I had to go through that, but then she goes and she's looking at me like that. She's like, "Well, what is it called?" There's another word that sounds like trichinosis. That is that's an STD.
Mm,
So she thought I was talking about that, and I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. It's trichinosis because I know what you're talking about because when I tried Googling trichinosis, that came up."
hmm.
So, I had to explain to her I had to tell her what trichinosis was, like, she had no idea what this was, which made me feel, a lot less confident in the
Mhm,
situation.
mhm.
So, long story short, they did nothing for me because they couldn't even run tests because it's urgent care, like, they wouldn't take blood or anything. So, the next day, I got a doctor's appointment, I go to the doctor, and I see the nurse practitioner, and dude, identical situation. "Hey, I might have trichinosis because blah, 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 blah." It could be just a stomach bug, it could be trichinosis because I ate
I got the trig. Yeah.
undercooked, fox.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, tricho whatever is an STI. I don't understand." I'm like, "No, dude." I mean, dude, it was like I was in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So she goes through, and so I had to explain it to her. Then she gets on her like medical website, like the actual medical, not Wikipedia, like like
yeah.
I was doing. But she gets on the actual website and she's reading all this stuff like that, and so she's learning about it from this
Base
website.
level. Yeah, base level, 10,000 feet, just like, what is the trickle?
Dude, I'm like, man, I have lost all like, I'm gonna die. I don't even know what this is, but I'm gonna die. So she figures it out and sees that there's a blood test you can do. So they take my blood and everything. And by that evening, I was actually feeling fine. So by the time the blood test came back, it came back, my white blood cells or whatever was fine.
Yeah.
But then she calls me back and is like, look, there's another test that they didn't run that they were supposed to. And I'm like, well, look, I don't have any symptoms anymore. So it probably wasn't that. So I was like, if I have more symptoms, then I'll go get the test. And she's like, yeah, that'll be fine, everything. So chances are it was just a bug, but a lot of the cases for trichinosis either gets misdiagnosed as like a flu, and it's like self-regulating. Like if it's not,
Yeah.
like super duper bad. So the chances are I didn't have it because there's only like 16 cases a year. But that was my experience. I guarantee you I will be testing every predator I eat with a meat thermometer. 'Cause
I
I'm not
tell you,
gonna stop eating them. They're
it's
delicious.
so Steve Ranella and Giannis Putelis, I believe is who had it. They both had
The
trigonosis at the same time
from
from a
that bear. Yeah,
yeah, and it sounds really bad, and I think it's dangerous if we didn't live in a modern world,
right.
but, like, even them, they had to go, like, to the CDC to get the medication that they needed, and so, like, they were having their blood sent off to the CDC so that the CDC could confirm and then send them the medication that they needed to get rid of the trick,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, dude, that's nuts. I mean, listen, dude, I'll eat about dang near anything, but there's something about predators. I think that's why we as consumers, like at our base, like primal level, don't consume other predators, is because I think there's like something primal in us that knows that like that can be dangerous.
Yeah, but I'm a coon ass who's gonna test the boundaries of
You ever heard of what is the crap that you get from cat feces? Toxoplasmosis?
sure.
Bro, you want to hear about toxoplasmosis? Let me tell you about toxoplasmosis. Okay.
Is that the thing that people makes people schizophrenic?
Yeah, it can make you
That's
really
why.
crazy. So toxoplasmosis, I'll give you the 10,000-foot view on what toxoplasmosis is. Essentially, all felines carry toxoplasmosis, and toxoplasmosis is transferred through their poop. And so, like, toxoplasmosis can be contracted by essentially any mammal. And so, like rats, small rodents, small varmints, things that cats prey on will get toxoplasmosis. And what the toxoplasmosis does is it changes their brain chemistry to make them less fearful. And so it makes it easier for the cats to get them because they don't fear the cats like they should because their brains are jacked up. And so, how it presents itself in humans, in very, very, very rare cases, you'll hear about people like schizo and all that stuff. But for the most part, it's just people are crazy. Like people like, like you're like, why does that dude like doing backflips on motorcycles? Because he maybe has toxoplasmosis. He also may be an adrenaline junkie, but there's this study that went on where they studied a bunch of people and found out like this massive group of people all had toxoplasmosis. Now it's not dangerous to humans outside of the side effects of it just dropping our fear levels. Like it literally drops the fear hormones in our body. Now, for small rodents and varmints and stuff like that, it's deadly because it makes them not fear predators. It makes them do stupid things like come out in the middle of the day and get eat by cats and stuff. But in us, it's like, yeah, I'll go punch that 6'5" dude that's got 21-inch arms in the face because I'm not scared of that.
That sounds like a good starting point for research for anxiety medication.
Possibly. That's actually, yeah, I mean, it possibly could. But I mean, you want to give people toxoplasmosis?
Well, no, that's you figure out what does what and make it not permanent or something. I don't know. That's why I'm not a scientist
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
because I
It's
would
just there's so many like
just
I
hand people
see it.
capsules of cat poo.
So my dad one time when he was in Haiti, here's what scares me. It ain't the big animals. It ain't toxoplasmosis. It ain't the trick. It's shit we get from mosquitoes. My dad got dengue fever one time.
What? The heck is
Yes.
that?
It's a mosquito-borne disease. You get it from mosquitoes biting you, and he had dengue fever, and dude, it about killed him. Like, I
Ooh.
literally yes, my dad was sick for weeks. My dad's almost died a couple times. I mean, he's gone now, but he almost died before the cancer got him. But it's like so right here, dengue fever is a painful, debilitating mosquito-borne disease caused by any one of four closely related dengue viruses. The viruses are related to the virus that causes West Nile infection and yellow fever. And so some of the symptoms are eye pain, fever, muscle pain, headache, bone pain, nausea, vomiting, joint pain, and rash. So I remember he got the rash, a headache, and he felt like his bones were like breaking inside of his body. I believe they call it the bone crusher because of that. And
That
he
doesn't sound
laid
fun.
no, he took, like, some antiviral medicine and, like, he finally got better, but dude, for, like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like, excruciating pain, super duper sick, and he got it from a mosquito. Something that you can't even see, can't even feel it land on you. Most of the time, you can't feel it bite you. Mosquitoes gave him that. Like,
S-
insanity.
So if there's one thing we know about here, it's mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So me and the wife went camping. Well, that's the time I caught the smallmouth with you. That campsite, we seen like 3 mosquitoes, and you could barely see them. We have pterodactyls down here that fly around in the swamp, and for some reason, this past at the end of this past summer, we've had an infestation of mosquitoes like I have never seen before. Even my neighbor down here where I live in this town, in this bayou town, he said he's never seen it like this before. And according to the news, they said because of the drought, we have these saltwater marsh mosquitoes they can lay their eggs on dry land. They don't need they don't lay it in the water, but they'll lay it on the dry marsh or whatever and wait for it to get wet and then they'll hatch. So we had a drought all summer long. So they were laying eggs all summer long. And we had a low tide and a drought all summer long. Well, all of a sudden we get this rain starts coming down and the tide finally comes back up and they all hatched at one time. And dude, these are like black, hairy mosquitoes, like the size of your fingernail.
Like
Okay.
pterodactyls. Like,
Dude, I'm telling you, when I like if I go outside and this
uh,
and they're not like dusk and dawn, like the times that
yeah,
they usually come out, dude,
they're
they're
all
they're
day long.
all
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
And I go out there and I'll open my Jeep to load it up.
and they're
And by
in
the
there.
time I close it, there's 20 in my Jeep. So the whole drive, I'm swatting and killing mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And dude, it's something needs dude, they need to do something. It is insane how bad they are right now.
And then too, you've got like the whole government thing where the government was releasing mosquitoes to try to do something with West Nile virus down there too. So you got that going for you.
That's probably what it is. The news was probably saying, "Yeah, oh yeah, it's because of the drought," when really this is just government drones flying around injecting people with something. Who knows?
Dude,
Who
listen,
knows?
I'll tell you another story. Haiti's the door hinges to hell, ladies and gentlemen. I went there 4 times on a mission trip. It's door hinges of hell. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I tell you what Haiti does have. They have giant insects and arachnids. And when I
Ooh,
say giant insects and arachnids, I'm talking moths the size of a dinner plate.
no,
That's
man.
not an exaggeration, Vinny. Bigger than my head, buddy. And like they're flying around, and honestly, they go as they fly around. Then tarantulas,
Nope.
not just any tarantulas, bird eating tarantulas. Buddy, let me tell you something. When they hit the floor and you can hear them run like a squirrel, you know it's big, bro.
I don't think so, cuz.
So I dropped my water bottle lid because you got to drink like Culligan water. Like I have a big water
Right.
bottle. There's no running water. There's no electricity. There's nothing there. I mean, you guys got to understand it. So we're drinking out of these big Culligan water bottles. So I'm filling my water bottle up. I drop my lid and it rolls over to this dark corner. And I walk over to the dark corner with my headlamp on and look down. And dude, bro, this is not an exaggeration. I'm talking. I'm 10 inches in diameter. I mean,
Jesus.
that's how big you. I mean, like legs. Like 10 to 12
Yeah,
inches.
yeah.
Like it's big, and he's sitting there on like a on like a I don't even know like a piece of tile, and it jumps off the tile, and honest to God goes. And I mean, I'm like, like I'm running, like trying to get away from this thing, and they get a machete out and hatch one of its legs off. It survives, and they kill it the next day by chopping it in half the rest of the way with the machete. But bro, these things are big, brown, and they have purple hair on them.
Dude, see, so like spiders don't bother me when they're normal size.
Them biggins.
But when they get big like that, that would freak me out. Like the only thing around here that gives me the grimace is is a roach.
Do you
And
do you
I'm not
do you
afraid of them, but they give me the
y'all have
grimace.
those we call them milk crate spiders because they I guess they used to get in milk crates, but they're just like they look like wolf spiders, but they're like as big as your hand. Y'all have those down there?
No, we got what we call banana spiders. I don't think they're actually banana spiders, but that's what we call them.
Oh,
And they
like
get
weavers. Yeah.
pretty,
Oh,
yeah,
yellow
pretty
and
big
black.
and yellow and stuff. Yeah.
No, so these things are like about the size of my hand. They look like a wolf spider and they hang out around water. Well, your boy, he likes to explore. This is when exploring gets dangerous. Now, these spiders can't hurt you at all. Like they just can't. Like they're not, I think if they got on you and they bit you, it just hurt and you're fine,
Yeah.
right? But your boy likes to explore in a kayak. Well, there's the one thing about exploring creeks in a kayak is you better wait till the first frost so that all the little creepy crawlies go away, because what's going to happen is you're going to run into something that you don't want to run into, and it's either going to fly and sting, or it's going to be able to run and sting, or it's going to swim and it's going to want to crawl in the kayak with you, just the way that it is. Snakes, spiders, snakes don't bother me. I like snakes, but spiders and hornets, I literally would come undone. I would beat you, your mother, and your grandmother all to death trying to get away from hornets. Like it's just the way that it is. I hate them. But anyway, these milk crate spiders. So your boy one day is a little too warm probably to be doing what I was doing, but it was cool enough that I had to throw a hoodie on. So I thought, well, it's cold enough. So I lay my kayak seat all the way down in my kayak, and I am shimmying under this log. And that log is about, I don't know, yay far off my face for the people listening on podcasts. 4 inches off the front of my face. And as I'm pushing under, there's one of those spiders.
Oh,
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I literally, like, there was a sound come out of me. I went, I was like, I'm just pushing and I'm just pushing and I'm just pushing. And I get all the way past him and I hear, on the back of my kayak, and I'm like,
Oh no.
no, dang it. I turn around and old boy's just like sitting there, and I'm like, all right.
Hitching a ride.
I was like, okay, Kimosabi, what are we gonna do here? Like, it's like a Mexican standoff. I had that paddle ready. I reached back there and I said, whack with that paddle real quick. Totally whiffed on him. That's what happens when they have 62 eyes and 8 legs. They move really,
Yep.
really quickly. But luckily, he decided that the water was a better choice than staying in the kayak with me, and he shimmied off across the water. But needless to say, if you're scared of spiders or hornets were horrible this year. I don't
I don't
know.
know. We I mean, I'm assuming we have hornets, but is that the ones that make that big round nest, like that big?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like a mummy wrapped
Yeah,
around
looks like a
something.
basketball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Okay.
got
Yeah.
videos I'll send you. Like, I probably videoed, no joke, 8 hornets nests this year that were like basketball size or bigger.
So I don't. I've never
All
seen
hornet.
one myself out, but what I see a lot of is red wasp, the paper wasp,
Yeah.
and they'll be out on the bayou, and I'm talking like nests like this wide.
Yeah.
The ones that you'll see them a lot of times. The nest ain't but that big, and there's about 5 or 6 of them on there. Up
Yeah.
under your house or something like that. Well,
Yeah.
I'll see them out in the trees, dude, and I'm talking like a couple hundred of these red wasps. Just, dude, it's insane
What?
looking because they're all on the outside. Because the only thing in the nest is the babies. And
I
dude,
literally can't. I literally cannot even. I can't even listen to you talk about it. Like, it bothers me so. It makes me want to burn things. Like, to think about that.
well,
I
dude,
hate things.
so one of my biggest fears while I'm out there is getting because I get a lot of baits caught in the trees, a lot of them.
Hit one. Yeah.
I'm worried I'm gonna throw it in a tree, not see the wasp nest in the tree, and go to yanking, trying to get my lure out, and just and then what? Because them
Mm-hmm.
suckers hurt. Them
So,
suckers hurt. Cause
so your boy one time about screwed up. About screwed up. I didn't screw up, but I about screwed up. So one thing that those ball face hornets do is they build their nest near water,
Mhm.
low to the water. Like, they, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but they like to be close to water. And so creeks, rivers, lakes, you got to watch the trees during the summer because you'll get into ball face hornets if you're not careful, because they will build right on the water line. Like, I mean, do 2 feet off the water. Well, there's a lake around here called Norris, and in the summer, well, spring, May, they jerk the water up real quick, and it allows water to go back into places where bushes and grass and trees normally grow on dry land. It'll be covered with water, and so we'll go back there because what happens, as soon as the water comes up, the bass follow it back there and they'll start spawning, and then the shad spawn and the bass just stay back there and they eat the shad because the shad are there. It's just a natural part of life. So we go back there and we're flipping, frogging, spooking, all that kind of stuff. And I'm going down this bank and I'm flipping and I'm flipping and I'm flipping and I'm flipping this one tree. It goes donk. I set the hook. I go whack. And right when I set the hook, I see the hornet's nest on the limb that I'm over with
Mm.
bass connected to it.
Cut the line
Buddy,
and run.
and let me tell you something. I saw them start coming out like they were coming out.
Mhm.
I turned that trolling motor around. I stuck my rod straight at that fish and I just hit it and started pulling. Dude, I pulled fish and all out. I got the fish out and I got away from the hornets. But dude, like, if I hadn't have seen it, they'd have been all over me because they were coming out. And what was crazy is I got the fish in, threw him back, and you could just see the hornets like all over the bush. They were just like trying to figure out where to go to just totally
Destroy.
screw up, like whatever screwed with them. And like, dude, it's yeah, I don't like those things.
I don't know if you've seen the video, but I had put out my trolling motor, and I had a wasp nest in the trolling motor that I didn't know was there, and
Yeah.
2 wasps,
Oh yeah, I remember
like,
that. I watched
start
that video. I
and
hated that video
that
too.
happened twice. So I thought after that time it was done, like they were out, it was over. And then I think the very next time I took the boat out and deployed my trolling motor, they popped out again like that and chased me to the back of the boat, dude. That
I hate those things, dude. You know what's scary? Well, here, trying new things and it's dangerous. Once you've been stung by a hornet or a bee at any point in your life, you can become allergic to them.
oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this year, I got stung by a yellow jacket in my yard mowing the yard. I didn't have a allergic reaction to it. It was not like an anaphylactic reaction, but my chest got tight, my throat
Mm,
kinda got tight. I had to take a Benadryl and all the symptoms went away. But it really kinda started to worry me. I was like, "Man, I may need an EpiPen," because like, what happens if I get stung and I'm, like,
yeah. What
way
happens if
back.
you get stung more than that once?
Exactly. Exactly. Now those little SOBs learned a lesson. You wanna know why they learned a lesson? Because I poured about 2.5 gallons of gas in that hole and lit that bad boy on fire. And yeah, they ain't never coming back.
Speaking of learning lessons, dude, the you quick shot on that rat, dude, that was in your chicken coop.
Hey, buddy, let
That
me tell
was
you.
awesome.
Yeah, did you like it?
That was awesome.
I knew you would like that. I knew if anybody liked it, it would be Vinny. Yeah, bro, let me
That
tell
was
you something.
fantastic.
I am well versed in the use of a shotgun. I'll just tell you that much. I've shot many of things in my day with a shotgun, moving, a flying, and a running away from me. Old Rudd is a redneck from way back, and I did a lot of shooting with a shotgun. But oh boy, he wasn't getting nowhere. Like I was, his head was mine, and the old 12 gauge Ithaca could put a thumping on him.
Quick shooter, man. That was move the thing and I mean, point blank too. It stood the chance.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, that was awesome.
I'm one of those people too. Like even when I hunted a lot, like some people are like, "Here comes the deer. Okay, we're gonna get
Mhm.
around. Breathe, breathe, breathe." No, me, I'm just like, all right, that's done. Thank you very much. I mean, like, you don't hesitate, just shoot them. You know what I mean? Too many people like get too hesitated and like hesitation in their shot. Like, just shoot the thing. Ducks, birds, varmints, anything. Just shoot the thing. I mean, it's just, end
I'm
it.
not a good shot. As much
Really?
as I do it, you would think, yeah, no. Well, okay, so ducks, terrible. Dude,
Really?
I suck at dude, I love duck hunting. I
Mhm.
suck at knocking them out the air.
Hmm.
Now, I went on a rabbit hunt with Jared from outside the levees, and it was a with using beagles, which, dude, if you've never done that, that is so much fun.
Yeah, I've heard hunting with dogs is a tremendous amount of fun either way.
I only missed, I think, one that I shot at that day. I think I killed like 5 or 6, and it just, I
Yep.
mean, knocked them. So I apparently I can shoot rabbits, just can't shoot a duck.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I need to
I'm a
take some
very
shooting lessons.
I'm a very like intuitive shooter. Like I grew up shooting recurve bows, iron sights on shotguns. Like I'm very point and shoot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm very intuitive in that fact that like it's just like I know where it's going and I know what I have to do to get that gun where it needs to be. It's like same thing with like a pistol. Like shooting a pistol, I'm very intuitive with a pistol because I'm just like it's like I'm very mechanical. Like I have a process for everything.
Mhm.
Shooting a bow is the same way. I think I learned it from shooting a bow because my dad was he was, Hoyt archery team. Like he did all that, worked in a bow shop when he was young. I mean, so he taught me how to shoot a bow and it was all just very mechanical process, and so I'm the same way when I shoot a gun. It's like I've just done the process so many times. It's like shooting a bow. You pull it back, you got the same anchor point. I mean, it's just same thing every time. Shooting a shotgun or a pistol is the same exact way. It's just that mechanical process. And so
I
I
think
don't know.
my issue is probably I don't practice enough. The only time I'm shooting is when I'm out there,
Mm.
hunting. And I'd love to go practice, but I can't afford the daggum ammo anymore.
Oh, dude, it's so expensive.
Everything is doubled
It's
in
absolutely
price.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is.
So back to real quick, trying new things. Have you ever put out jug lines for catfish? Can y'all do that in Tennessee?
I think it's illegal now. It used to not be, but I think now it is. There's something about jug line. Like, no, we can't limb line. That's what we can't do.
Okay.
But we can jug. I don't think we can put out a line. I think we can put like rope on a float with a single hook. Like, but we
Right.
can't put out like a trot line or any sort of like
Okay.
line with
Well, that's what I
connection.
mean by jug. Yeah, jug
Yeah,
line. They
like
just
jug one rope and like a line. Yes.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
can put multiple ones out, like
I've
several.
never done it personally, but anytime I see one bobbing up and down in the middle of the channel, I always go pull it up just to see what's on it. So yeah,
Yeah, you need it. I think you need to try if you can find since you're trying new things.
yeah.
Do you like catfish? I mean, do you like eating
I
catfish? Do you like
I do, but the problem is around here is we are advised not to eat a lot of our catfish because of heavy metals, because of Oak Ridge
oh,
National
heavy
Labs.
metal?
Yeah.
Well, that's dumb.
Not like Metallica. I'm talking like, uranium and mercury and things like that.
Mercury, yeah.
Stuff
Yeah,
will kill you.
you should probably move. You should
Yeah,
just come
there's
down here to
a
Louisiana.
in the mud. What is that stuff called? It is a direct result of the enriching of uranium, plutonium
Hmm.
237 or whatever that crap, something 237, I think is what it's called. Well, it's in the mud in Watts Bar Lake. Like certain parts of
Oh,
Watts Bar Lake, it's literally in the mud, and like they tell you, don't touch the mud, don't eat crawfish, don't eat anything that eats crawfish, don't eat anything that eats off the bottom, like
I'd stay
everything.
away from that lake.
Yeah,
Altogether.
it's rough, bro. Like some good fishing down there though.
The reason I ask is I've been on 2 jug fishing trips recently, and we've been dude, the other day we caught 200 pounds of catfish
Yeah,
in 2 hours.
yeah,
I mean, we put out 32 jugs, and it sat there. They sat for 2 hours, and we picked them up and caught 22 fish, and they were about so after we cleaned them all, it was about 25 pounds of fillets,
that's
just
crazy.
straight meat.
That's
And
crazy.
that's not keeping the meat from the bellies. That's,
That's
cutting out blood
fillets.
lines. Dude,
Yeah.
just clean white fillets.
I've never cleaned a catfish though. Don't you gotta like pull their skin off?
Me and my buddy Frank was talking about that today because he went and because he came with me today. We caught not as many, but I was only had half the jugs out.
Yeah.
What we call a huge one. Uh, but anyway, he goes like we're about to go clean him. He goes to his truck and pulls out the catfish
Mhm.
skinner, the little pliers that you grab the skin and pull skin. I'm like, dude, I don't do it like that
Mhm.
because I like to get all the red off the meat.
Mhm.
So what we do is I'll take the catfish and I go hang them up by the mouth and I cut the tails off and
Mhm.
let all the blood run out.
Mhm.
And you just leave them there for a little while,
Mhm.
10, 15 minutes. And then you go back and then you just fillet them.
Mhm.
So when I fillet, I go from the tail, so the tail's cut off, so I'll go right there on the edge between the meat and the backbone, and
Mhm.
I fillet it off. And then when I take the skin off, I keep I mean, I don't know, a millimeter off the skin because I
Mhm.
want to leave that little bit of meat still on the skin because that's where that red meat is.
Mhm.
Whenever they skin the catfish, that red stuff's still on the meat, and that's where you get your fishy taste from.
Hmm.
So I cut it and I leave that red on the skin. So all I got is that white fillet, and then I'll cut the bloodline out of the middle. And I mean, that's the cleanest tasting meat you can get. Because I mean,
Hmm.
all the blood's out of it
Mhm.
and meat's white, white, white. So good.
I tell you what you need to do is you need to come up here next fall and we'll go catch a bunch of them spotted bass, some invasives.
Yep.
Dude, you want to talk about good? That is the cleanest tasting fish because all they eat is bait fish and crawdads. That's it. And that river that I catch them out of is extremely clean, like gin clear water. You could probably filter it once and drink it. That's how clean that water is. I wouldn't go that far, but you get what I'm saying. But like, dude, so good.
I'm not going there until you get down here.
Yeah, I know. I need to come down there.
And dude, you need to. Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna come up there for. You get that live scope or whatever you call it dialed in, and I want to go catch some sockeye
Oh,
or some
dude, I still got to
crappie.
figure that out. Because, dude, let me tell you something. I never in my life had any comprehension of how many crappie there are in the lakes around here. Like, dude, you start panning that dead mega live around. Oh my gosh! Like you'll
Mm,
pan out and you're like, that's literally 500 crappie sitting right there. I've
dude.
not figured out how to catch them yet, but I mean, it can't be that hard.
No, I had a subscriber send me he sent me some trapping bait, some trapping lures, but he sent me a crap ton of sockeye jigs. The little jigs with like it looks like a pipe cleaner wrapped around the actual hook, and then it got little hairs coming off the backside. He tied a whole bunch of them, and he gave me a bunch of them plus some other ones that he had.
Hmm.
So I need to put them things to work. I mean, we got them here, but I'm never been that good at finding them, and they're not stacked like they are in big lakes like that. Because I mean, our water doesn't get very deep, so it's hard to
Yeah,
find like the
yeah,
deep spots where they're hanging out.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I
man,
I want to do um the Florida. You ever seen how they do it in Florida?
with the 8 rods hanging off the side of the boat,
No, 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 no.
no.
So you can go to some of them like grass lakes in Florida, like Okeechobee and all that. And you like push your way up into the reeds and you just like take a literally a cane pole or I
Mhm.
don't even know
Yeah.
if it's a cane pole, but it's just like literally they got straight braid on that thing and like a bobber, and you just drop it and it just goes under. You just like pick it up, unhook it, and throw it in the cooler, and then drop it, goes under. You pick it up. Like I want to do that.
Yeah, Deer Meat just did a video. He down there in Florida, and but they'll have the boat set up where they got these rigs to where there's like it holds 5 of them on
Hmm.
one side, and they got on the other side of the boat, there's 5 of them. It's those rods where there's no reel on it. It's just a long piece of fiberglass.
Hmm.
And yeah, they just pick it up, boop, boop, and just let them sit. Like, so they're all fishing, all 5 of them are sitting there fishing. It's you see
Hmm.
it just bob a little bit, and so throw them in the boat.
It's cool, dude. It's cool. We need to go try that. That'll be a new thing, and hopefully it won't be dangerous.
Yep. Well, if I'm there, if you're there, it's dangerous for
Any,
me.
anything I'm involved in is dangerous. We're either going to get canceled publicly or you're going to get hurt physically. So you figure out which one you want. I mean, that's just
And
what's going to happen.
when you come down here, dude, we're gonna try and get as many different species. Because I wanna do a video where I get as or a series, it's like maybe a 3 video series where I catch or kill as many different species, edible species in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, go from your
I mean,
your perch
anything's
to your
edible.
cichlids to your redfish, speckled trout,
People.
crabs, crawfish, like, I just everything.
Yeah.
And
People.
just see because this place is abundant with food. That's one thing we don't have a shortage of is things to eat.
Yeah.
But
Fun
well,
stuff.
folks, it's been an hour and 11 minutes. That went by pretty quick. But Mr. Rudd has things to do, so we're gonna respect his time. He's got to go teach some people some stuff tomorrow. Is tomorrow? You got to go do it.
I'm driving to Indianapolis tomorrow and I have 2 presentations to give and I've only got one of them prepared. So,
You got to give it tomorrow, or
no, I'm the one that I'm giving tomorrow I have prepared. So I'm doing so if you're in Indianapolis or if, I don't even know if this will come out before then, but
no? It won't.
okay, well then never mind. But I'll be in Indianapolis for the boat show. I'm doing 2 kayak seminars over 3 days. So 2 different seminars 3 times over 3 days. And then we're doing a kayak panel. Me, Drew Gregory, Gene Jensen, the Fluke Master, and a guy named Mike McKinstry. He's got a TV show. We're all doing a kayak fishing panel where we're going to sit down like Q&A style and answer people's questions about kayak fishing and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be fun.
Right on, right on. Well,
Gang,
if
gang.
you made it to the end of this podcast and you enjoying it, make sure you head on to YouTube and subscribe to the Pelican Bone Outdoors podcast channel. Especially if you want to catch these live when I do them, and then obviously head on over to Mr. Alex Rudd's everything, just Alex Rudd Fishing on everything,
Everything.
and he'll be there, and you can be entertained, educated, and conservated, I guess.
Consummated.
But, all right, guys. Peace.
Bye.